You probably ought to go to a psychiatrist and figure out when it all started.
Welcome to the Case Doctors.
to prompt you to spend 14 grand for a Taylor Swift concert.
With John Simon and Alvin Wolff.
Wait a minute, you just lost half of your audience.
You did. The show where two of the greatest legal minds offer you advice on your cases.
Hey, I like Taylor Swift. I love the new album, Confessions of a Showgirl.
The Case Doctors. We'll see you now. Welcome to the Case Doctors. I'm your host, Christine Byers of Simon Law, and I'm joined by the Case Doctors, John Simon and Alvin Wolff. Now, between them, they have more than 80 years of experience as plaintiff's attorneys, so there really isn't a scenario they haven't already encountered on a case and figured out how to handle it. Now, they're offering you the chance to tell them about the various problems or issues that are coming up in your cases and hear their diagnosis. But first, let's turn to some of the civil cases making headlines and hear what the Case Doctors have to say about them. One of our first cases in Hot Topics today, gentlemen, brings us over to New Jersey. There was recently an American Conference Institute forum on pharma and biotech patent litigation in New York City.
Right up my alley.
Yeah. Where's your brother?
What was interesting about it was 6 judges with significant experience overseeing pharmaceutical patent litigation in the districts of New Jersey and Delaware urged litigators on Tuesday to rely on the expertise of local counsel if they were hoping to impress the court. So I kind of feel like this is a universal message. The judges in particular stressed the importance of listening to local counsel on what's appropriate in the courtroom. One of the judges said while attorneys may talk among themselves about judges, they need to remember the opposite is true. We spend an awful lot of time talking about the lawyers who appear here in front of us.
I bet
your
they do.
credibility is your biggest asset. So how important do you think it is for outside counsel, both of you have worked with outside counsel, relying on your expertise and knowledge of the local system?
Well, I always wonder when you have a significant case why an insurance company is going to hire a lawyer who comes in from New York or Chicago into St. Louis to handle a case. I think it's absurd. By the same token, if I've got a case in outstate Missouri, I'm going to have local counsel help me and guide me through everything that I need to do. Chances are pretty good that he's going to know the judge, he's going to know the jury panel, and he's going to be very helpful.
Yeah, same thing. If we have a case out, of any significance in another state, we always get local counsel. I think it's a big mistake not to get local counsel. I've always wondered too how, and we see that. I see that a lot where a case will be pending for 2 or 3 years, and then it doesn't settle, and then we're going to trial, and literally 2 weeks before trial, somebody kind of parachutes in that doesn't know anything about the case, hasn't worked on the case. And they're going to come in and be quote try the case, and I've never seen that work out well for the other side when that happens.
And they always want a continuance.
First thing, obviously, come in and continue it. I had a case when I was a young lawyer, and there was an issue it was a trial, and it was a pretrial, and there was an issue about whether some evidence would come in or not. And I found a case. We had briefed it and argued it. And I found a case that was against me. It was a Missouri case, and the other side didn't even have it. And I just saw that I was wrong. My position was wrong. And one of the judges in the city, I came in the next day. It wasn't a real big deal, but I just said, hey, that there's a case right on point. They're right about that. And I got treated so well by that judge on rulings in that case. And not just that, I had other cases in front of her, and it happens. I guarantee you that I tell the young lawyers here all the time, judges talk about lawyers. Hell, we talk about lawyers. We talk about judges.
Have you had experience with outside counsel coming in, hiring you, and then not necessarily being particularly respectful of you and trying to, just say, no, I've got this, sit down. And how do you deal with that if it happens to you?
I think you have an understanding with that lawyer about what's going to happen with the case, who is going to be handling what, and you've got to have a good feel for not just the case, that it's a good case, but if it's somebody that I'm not comfortable working with, I'll tell them to try to find somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, I've got one right now where we've got 24 defendants in the case. And the lawyer from Florida who hired me is completely deferential to everything. In fact, a little bit too much. The 24 defendants, just getting service has been a nightmare.
Interesting. Okay, wonderful. This hot topic involves StubHub, and the plaintiff in this case is claiming that the retailer reneges on its fan protect guarantee. And that guarantee is their way of saying we'll provide comparable tickets or refund customers if the tickets aren't available that they bought on the day of the concert. The plaintiff in this case is claiming that less than 40 minutes before Taylor Swift's show started, StubHub gave the tickets that were patently inferior to the ones that she bought for $14,000. Accordingly, the three tickets that she received as a replacement for the tickets that she had actually purchased were worth only about $3,600.
Well, I see a lot of issues. One is $14,000 for tickets.
For concert tickets.
So what's the issue? She didn't get what she paid for?
She is claiming that, she's claiming that the tickets that she actually got were worth $3,600, markedly less than the $14,000 she spent. And she says, based on information and belief, StubHub pocketed the difference. Do you think she has a case?
I think it's buyer beware. If that's listed as $14,000 on the website and you put your money down, you probably ought to go to a psychiatrist and figure out when it all started to prompt you to spend $14,000 for a Taylor Swift concert.
Wait a minute, you just lost half of your audience.
You did.
Hey, I like Taylor Swift. I love the new album, Confessions of a Showgirl.
That's
I think
right.
is the name of the album.
That's right.
I listened to it the other day.
Wonderful. What's your favorite song?
Something about Travis Kelce, where they got engaged. I haven't listened to it enough where I know the names of the songs.
Right.
But my favorite Taylor Swift song is the one about Picture to Burn.
Oh.
So I'm really impressed. And don't ask me about any Taylor Swift
I am
songs.
too.
'Cause
I
don't know
was
the names
going
of them.
to pass on that.
I think if somebody wants to sell you something for $14,000, whatever it is, a concert ticket, and you buy it, my assessment is you bought it. And I think that's the end of it.
I think the case that has more merit that I recently saw was a lady that filed the class action suit about the goldfish. You know, the goldfish crackers?
Oh, yeah.
The ad says that they're completely natural, but they put ascorbic acid in there, which makes them not completely natural. And now there's a raging class action suit on that.
I know there was a class action lawsuit against a dog food maker for that same thing. And it ended up getting certified and getting settled because it wasn't all natural.
Okay.
So
I got $36 put in my Venmo account today on a Facebook class action suit. I didn't know I was a member of, but hey.
Did you have to fill out paperwork, or did they just arrange to just shoot you the money in your account?
I don't know.
What was it about?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'd like to add here that StubHub charges extra fees for that security, that, fan protect guarantee that she had, and also claims to promise customers a refund. And again, here the issue is the tickets she bought were worth $14,000. The ones she got were actually worth $3,600.
How was the concert? Did she enjoy it?
That's a great question. I'm sure she did, but not with the great view.
Man, I think that's pretty steep. $14,000. Wow. Although there are other events that are comparable. Super Bowl, an NBA game, depending on the game and the location.
Really?
And the seat.
Do you spend that kind of money?
No, I just know of it.
You can watch it on television.
So we were in Los Angeles. We were in Los Angeles, and it was a Christmas Day game with the Lakers. I forget who they were playing, and we were there over Christmas. And it was my son and my son-in-law and I was thinking kind of at the last minute. It was Christmas Eve, and I'm thinking, wow, the Christmas Day game. We wanted to go see the game. I like watching the NBA, and the tickets that were available were like $6,000 a piece, and I watched it on TV. I wasn't going to spend, $18,000 to go to the basketball game.
Oh, you're a cheapskate.
Well, I don't know.
You had a better seat. Watching it on TV.
I did.
Food was better.
Food was better. I had real good
Bathroom
company.
was cleaner.
Bathroom was cleaner. But I think it was about $6,000, and they weren't, like on the court. They were just seats.
It's unbelievable. But you know what? I've been to the Sphere 3 times to see these shows, and I'm spending $450 for a ticket for a show, which is, to me, it's absurd. It makes no sense. But it is the eighth wonder of the world.
I guess it's the experience, though, and it's the experience, right?
Right.
Is it worth $14,000?
Not in my book, it's not. I'm going to miss that show.
For sure.
That'd be hard pressed to get me to go for the $3,500 tickets. I don't know that I'd do that.
I got a T-shirt for the Taylor Swift tour. I had a client who got hit by a car in the Grove, and she told me she was going to see Taylor Swift up in Minnesota. And I said, get me a T-shirt from the Eras tour. So I have my Taylor Swift shirt right next to my Melissa Etheridge shirt.
There you go.
Good. Sounds good.
Thank you, gentlemen. Time now to turn to our email inbox for the cases our viewers have sent in for the case doctors to diagnose. Now, just so everyone knows, we're not going to reveal where these cases came from. We're not going to name any names or firms to protect the confidentiality of the cases. Instead, the case doctors are going to focus on just the issue in each of them. So as they say, the case doctors will see you now. This is from a commercial litigator in Colorado. My client insisted on paying my retainer in Bitcoin. 2 weeks later, they claimed their wallet was hacked and filed a police report. They're demanding I return the funds, which were already converted to USD. What is my ethical exposure here if I accepted the payment in good faith?
Well, if you're paid an advance retainer, that money's supposed to go into your client trust account, and you're supposed to get paid as you earn your fee. You just don't take the money and keep the whole thing unless it's a non-refundable retainer. That's my understanding.
Yeah, mine too.
This is from a commercial litigator in Colorado. My client insisted on paying my retainer in Bitcoin. 2 weeks later, they claimed their wallet was hacked and filed a police report. They're demanding I return the funds, which were already converted to USD. What is my ethical exposure here if I accepted the payment in good faith?
Well, if you're paid an advance retainer, that money's supposed to go into your client trust account, and you're supposed to get paid as you earn your fee. You just don't take the money and keep the whole thing unless it's a non-refundable retainer. That's my understanding.
Yeah, mine too. I guess it's going to depend on how far they are into the case and what the retainer was for.
And what the contract says.
Yeah, what the contract says. If they're paid, $50,000 retainer and that's so that they're going to take the case through trial, I think some of that money needs to be refunded. On the other hand, if somebody says, look, I'm going to need $5,000 up front to do any kind of investigation and it's non-refundable, I can't imagine any attorney having a contract where they take a retainer and it's not spelled out in their written contract how that's going to be handled.
My feeling is if you've done a little bit of work on the case and the client wants their money back, give them their money back because it's not worth the aggravation.
I
So
agree. I
here's
agree
your
with
money.
that. That's
Goodbye
great
and good
advice.
luck.
That is good advice.
Our next email inbox case comes from a real estate attorney in Georgia.
We're experts at that.
Yes.
Georgia real estate law, you bet.
A homeowner placed over 200 garden gnomes in their front yard, claiming it's an art installation. The HOA is fining them daily for unsightly clutter. The homeowners say it's a First Amendment expression issue. Does aesthetic regulation by an HOA ever cross into constitutional territory, or is it strictly a matter of contract enforcement?
I think it does. And are they religious artifacts?
They might be from the Masters tournament, Masters gnomes. If it's in Georgia.
Political. Yeah. Yeah, if they're political objects, you may have a little better ground, to argue that. I remember there was a case with one of the municipalities here, it was Ladue, where it was a political sign.
Right.
And they banned them, right?
Right.
And that went on for
And they won.
years. And
The
right.
plaintiff, the homeowner won.
Is that right? So you
Yeah.
couldn't put the sign out?
Margaret Jaleo was her name.
So, so I don't know. Those kind of cases, the first question I ask from a practical standpoint is, a practical perspective is, what's the big deal? I mean, really? You're going to file a lawsuit and litigate over this and spend God knows how much about putting some decorative items in somebody's yard?
A lot of these homeowners' covenants have restrictions, like we can't put up, I don't think we can put up signs that we have contractors working in our house,
Okay.
a roofing company or,
Advertisements, right?
right. So who knows? I mean, maybe they could compromise and have 50 gnomes and everyone would be happy.
Yeah. They could call it the 50 gnome rule.
Okay, gentlemen, that will do it for this episode of The Case Doctors. If you have a case that you would like the Case Doctors to dissect, send us an email at cases@thecasedoctors.com. And here's a QR code that will take you directly to our contact page. Once again, we will be keeping all names and cases confidential. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time on The Case Doctors.